We've all noticed that there's a growing commitment towards driving innovation and excellence in the logistics industry, and which is why we thank you all for being part of the growth trajectory. We also have a very interesting and a very curated agenda for all of you, which is why to set the tone for the inaugural session, I'd like to please invite on stage Mr. Nirav Thakur, Honorary Secretary BCBA, to introduce and to invite our esteemed dignitaries for the inaugural session. May I please invite Mr. Nirav Thakur, lekin pehle to zordar taaliyan bhi ho jaye. Let's get the energy from all our members of the audience. Mr. Nirav Thakur.
Thank you, Kavyaji, and good morning, everyone. I would now request our chief guests of honors and dignitaries to kindly come on the dais. I would first request Shri Piyushkumar Agarwal ji, Principal Chief Commissioner of Customs, Mumbai Zone 1. He is from the 1988 IRS batch. May I also request Shri Rajesh Pandey ji, Chief Commissioner of Customs, JNCH, IRS 1990 batch. Mr. Shyam Jagannathan, 1997 IAS batch. Sir. May I request Mr. Unmesh Wagh ji, IRS, kindly please come forward, IRS 2000 batch. May I now request Captain Piyushkumar Tyagi, Chairman and Managing Director, Shipping Corporation of India. Kindly come on stage. My request to Mr. Surendra Rana ji, DMD SBI Bank, to please come forward. And of course, Mr. Piyushkumar Shah, Chief Officer and Head of Custom Compliance at Reliance Industries. Please have a round of applause for all our dignitaries. May I now request Senior Vice President Mr. Sanjeev Harale to kindly join the dignitaries on the dais. I would now request Mr. Sanjeev Harale to kindly provide the welcome address to the audience.
A very good morning and a warm welcome to all our distinguished delegates from various organizations. It is with great pleasure and immense honor that we welcome Chief Principal Commissioner of Customs, Mumbai Zone 1, Shri Piyushkumar Agarwal, Chief Commissioner of Customs, Mumbai Zone 2, Shri Rajesh Pandey, Deputy Director General of Shipping, Shri Shyam Jagannathan, Chairman JMN Port, Chairman JN Port Authority, Shri Unmesh Wagh, Chairman Shipping Corporation of India, Shri BK Tyagi, Deputy Managing Director, State Bank of India, Shri Surendra Rana, Chief Officer and Head of Customs Compliance at Reliance Industries, Mr. Piyushkumar Shah. We also extend a warm welcome to all the dignitaries of the dais, members of trade bodies, our esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the BCBA Logistics Conclave 2024. We are very happy to have you all here today. This event is very special because it brings together many important leaders in the logistics industry. Today we are here to learn about new ideas and big opportunities in logistics. We want to help customs brokers and logisticians find new ways to grow and succeed. We will hear stories of successes from Indian companies that have done great things in logistics. These stories will inspire us and show us what is possible. We believe that by learning from these successes, we can empower professionals to become leaders in global logistics. We are also committed to supporting small businesses, promoting gender inclusivity, and fostering sustainability in our industry. As we begin this day, let's remember that this is a chance to learn, share, and connect. Thank you all for being here and for your commitment to making a positive difference. Welcome once again. And now we request our President, Mr. Dushyant Mulani, for his address.
very good morning, friends. We are here today fortunate to have a galaxy of speakers. Our chief guest today, Principal Chief Commissioner Shri P.K. Agarwal ji, Chief Commissioner JNBA Shri Rajesh Pandey sir, our Mr. Jagannathan, he is the Director General Shipping. We have with us Shri Unmesh Wagh sir, JNBA Chairman. We have with us CMD of Shipping Corporation of India, Shri Tyagi ji. We have with us Mr. Rana, Deputy Managing Director of State Bank of India, and Mr. Piyushkumar Shah, representing the industry from Reliance Industries Limited, and my colleague Sanjeev Harare. Dignitaries of the dais and trade bodies, our sponsors, and our other colleagues from all over the country who gathered here to attend this event. India growth story, as we are looking at it today, is something different. I'm sure when all of us had started our journey, we were given benchmark of port efficiency like Rotterdam Port, Hamburg or Osaka Port. But today, friends, India has come up to its potential. We see today that JNPA and other ports in the country, which are the major ports, and they have shown the lead to the entire world globe today. The vessel turnaround time, efficiency in throughput and container handling has been one of the hallmark. And today, when I saw the report given by World Bank on container handling, we are proud to see Indian ports performing so well. Sir, it has been your effort and put together with the facilitation measure brought in by CBIC, Customs, and all stakeholders here present today. Likewise for airports, today when we go abroad, we find that yes, our airports are something to talk about. Infrastructure, the speed at which it is building up in India, there's a much to be handled in logistics. This is going to be India's decade of logistics. And friends, this is the right place, right time for all of us to be. What we are aspiring herewith, we want backbone of any economy is MSMEs. And logistics has maximum number of MSME units in its fold. When we look at the audience today, here, I would say more than 50% are first-time startups, you can say, as MSME units. Entrepreneurship, nurturing the entrepreneurship under this particular logistic scenario, and as a custom broker, freight forwarder, it's one of the highest. We are seeing that first-time employment generation by this sector is one of the highest. Today in this country of 142 crores, while getting the best talent, the specialized postgraduates and graduates is important. However, getting 10th and 12th standard boys and girls into our fold is very important, generating an employment for them, and logistics sector provides that. Skill development and training. This is our forte. Upskilling the entrepreneurship and ensuring that the staff here is properly upskilled to go on to the next curve. That is what we aspire. And yearly, all India level, we train more than 10,000, almost 10,000 people for this segment. Participation of women as a gender inclusion in logistics. I would say post-COVID, COVID has taught us many given us many learnings. And one of the important is that flexibility of working. And this has helped women, inclusion of women in logistics sector considerably. And lastly, friends, I would like to touch upon one of the important themes that we are in discussion with Government, Ministry of Finance, CBIC, Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Shipping, Civil Aviation, that this is the time when we are talking of Atmanirbhar Bharat in manufacturing. Why not in service sector and logistics? Friends, when we go abroad, we go to Korea, we go to Japan, the preference is given to the logistic players of that country. The Indian mindset of problem solving is probably one of the highest. Why can't we use that particular skill set to get Atmanirbhar Bharat, develop the likes of the DHLs and the FedExes in the coming decade, and showcase to the world that we can reach where up to the potential that we have. Friends, let us all hear our dignitaries today. Let us all cooperate, collaborate and complement each other to make India proud in the logistics sector and get ahead. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, sir, for truly setting the visionary tone for our industry with your valuable words. And ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we're absolutely delighted to have the esteemed presence of our dignitaries here as we get to learn a little more about the way forward. And while we do so, we'd like to also move ahead and welcome them by felicitating them for being part of this wonderful conclave, for gracing their presence at this conclave. So first up, if I could please request Dushyant sir to kindly step forward, sir. If I could request Mr. Dushyant Mulani, Mr. Sanjeev Harale, and Mr. Paresh Thakkar to please come together to felicitate our chief guest for the conclave. We have the august presence of none other than Shri Pramod Kumar Agarwal, Principal Chief Commissioner of Customs, Mumbai Zone 1, 1988 IRS batch. So I request all the three of you to please come together to please felicitate our honorable chief guest for the day, Shri Pramod Kumar Agarwal. So along with the memento, we also have a plant to signify the green revolution that we are all actively part of. And this beautiful plant also symbolizes growth and prosperity. And now joining Mr. Dushyant Mulani on stage, may I also please request for Mr. Vinayak Kapraj, who is the Vice President BCBA, to please kindly step on the stage, sir. And may I also please invite Mr. Hiren Ruparal, Vice President BCBA, to please kindly step forward. I request the three of you to kindly felicitate Mr. Rajesh Pandey, Chief Commissioner of Customs, JNCH Nasheva, IRS Customs and Indirect Taxes.
ये टीम को अपना एक सिक्स सेंस मीडिया बीच में खड़ा रहता है क्या करेगा लोग को मिल नहीं रहे उनको बोलना पड़ेगा ठीक ना फिर मेरे को
I now like to invite Mr. Paresh Thakkar and Mr. Tej Mayur Contractor to please come on stage. And may I please request you to join Mr. Dushyant Mulani to also please felicitate and welcome Mr. Shyam Jagannathan. Mr. Shyam Jagannathan, Director General DG Shipping. I request Mr. Paresh Thakur to please remain on stage, sir. And may I also please invite Mr. Ganpat Korade, Honorary Treasurer, BCBA, to please come on stage. To please felicitate Mr. Unmesh Wagh, IRS, Chairman, GNPA. We thank you, sir, for your valuable presence. I'd now like to invite on stage Mr. Ketan Desai, Honorary Joint Secretary, to please come on stage. And I request you to please felicitate Captain Piyushkumar Tyagi, Chairman and Managing Director, Shipping Corporation of India. Music dada, slightly low, thank you. On that note, may I quickly please invite Mr. Ganpat Korade to please come on stage, sir, along with Mr. Neerav Thakur. I request both of you to please come on stage to please join Mr. Dushyant Mulani to felicitate Mr. G.S. Rana, Deputy Managing Director, State Bank of India. Please invite Mr. Harsh Jayant Lapsia. May I further once again request Mr. Sanjeev Harale and Mr. Vinayak Abraj to please join Mr. Dushyant Mulani. To please also felicitate Mr. Piyushkumar Shah, Chief Officer and Head of Customs Compliance at Reliance Industries. Very much. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get started with the inaugural session. But first up, to set the tone for the inaugural session, I'd like to once again request Mr. Neerav Thakur to please come on stage and share your thoughts before we get to hear from the leaders, from the stalwarts of the industry.
Thank you. India's logistics performance index, as per the World Bank report, is pegged at 38 out of 139 countries. The journey to achieve this number has been inspiring, which most of us present here are aware. New India is reshaping its logistics landscape. The infrastructure, talent, digital transformation are all getting attracted to this space, where there is equal space and opportunity for established players as well as the aspiring startups. With honorable chief guests and distinguished guests of honor present here today, let us begin our inaugural session and dive into the sea of opportunities unfolding in front of us. Thank you. May I request Ms. Kavya to kindly come forward and we can start with the inaugural session.
Well, that's right. I think we've all been eagerly waiting to hear from our leaders themselves, the stalwarts themselves. So what we're about to do is invite our speakers to share their valuable thoughts and also the way forward for the industry. So first up, if I could please request Mr. Piyushkumar Shah, Chief Officer and Head of Customs Compliance at Reliance Industries, to kindly please share your valuable address with the August gathering. Over to you, sir.
Respected dignitaries of the dais, my friends in the audience, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving me and my organization a chance to be a part of this conclave. We all know logistics is a part of supply chain management. But I picked up a very unique definition of logistics which says like this: logistics is a complicated activity to be handled by careful organization so that it happens in a successful and effective way. Now, happening in a successful and effective way, that's the result. But we today are going to discuss about the complicated activities. So what are the complexities and how to build a careful organization? So in the past, we were discussing about availability of proper infrastructure and resources, and also we were discussing like minor things like packaging. But now the complexities have increased. I would say that the first big event, that COVID, that make everyone learn that how the complex world is. I remember the day when the first COVID testing machine was being imported by my organization, and the flight could not come to Mumbai because there was no availability of the flight. Finally, we got a flight at Bangalore, and thanks to Indian Customs, within no time we could clear it. And also, by our special plane, we could bring those COVID testing machines to Mumbai. So during the COVID time, imagine my organization, Reliance Jio would not have been there. What could have been the situation? I would say Reliance Jio is also a logistics company. The difference is it manages the logistics of data. Now the complexities are many. There is a lot of discussion going on about China +1 policy, Ukraine war, Red Sea crisis, ESG compliances, and whatnot. Even in 2021, we saw the Suez Canal issue wherein the ship had run aground and the whole logistics was disturbed. So these are the complexities which I am sure will be discussed today. Now to handle this, we need a careful organization, we need an enhanced visibility, and I'm sure that also need the technology support, whether it is blockchain or AI. And in this context, the entire world, whether we look at the G7 or the India's new logistics policy or the Gati Shakti, or even the announcement of Vadhavan port, or talking about India's own shipping line, or the Nicobar transshipment hub. All these are the part of all these things. We have been talking about the logistics intra-state or intra-country logistics. Time is not far away that we would be talking about intra-planet movement of goods. So can we dream that the future logistics conclave will be on the Mars set up by Elon Musk? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Very futuristic perspective out here, and very well shared. That also allows us to set the vision straight and clear. Well, on that visionary note, ladies and gentlemen, let's march ahead, because now it's time to hear from none other than Mr. G.S. Rana, Deputy Managing Director, State Bank of India. Can we have a wealthy round of applause, everyone? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. G.S. Rana.
On dignitaries on the dais, the office bearer of BCBA, we from State Bank of India are very happy to be part of this today's logistic conclave. Of course, all of you will agree with me that the Indian economy and our nation as such, we are probably at a very sweet spot as on date, when the entire world is looking towards India, we being the fastest growing economy among the major economies, and the projections given by every other agencies is around 7%, 7.5% plus growth for the coming years. When the government of India announced its foreign trade policy last year, of course there was a lull for 2-3 years because of the COVID. So the government has set a target of 2 trillion of exports by 2030. So we can understand the amount of focus probably is being given by the government of India. And when we have the who's who from the the custom department from the government of India, we can understand the focus, of course, coming on this particular area from the government of India. I think the BCBA office bearers, they are doing a good job. In fact, let me tell you that we have 2 branches, especially which cater to the needs of the the activity of export and import. A very branch of a very old presence in a branch called Nhava Sheva Port, and another branch is International Air Cargo Complex. I think when the RBI issued some guidelines in 2021 on conduct or maintenance current account, of course we had some issues. So we had to close a lot of current account from the, especially the people who are into the, those accounts are especially opened for the duty drawbacks scheme. And now when the clarification came, later on, so I think we have been able to manage a few of accounts, maintain the few of those accounts. In fact, those branches maintain the accounts of the brokers from all across the country. There was a time only State Bank of India was authorized to handle the duty drawback scheme. So I think I was told as, many of the MSMEs are also part of this conclave today. I think we have a dedicated vertical who takes care of only the MSME needs. And let me assure all of you, the MSME units, even the BSBA office bearers, then we'll be very happy to listen to all of you, the feedback, especially where we need to tweak our products, we tweak our processes. And being the largest bank, probably, on many parameters, we are number one, even, across the globe. So we will be able to probably provide the best of these solutions to the, communities, the MSME units who are into this space. We have our SME team from the corporate center. Of course, I'm heading here on the local circle. So we're very happy to have your feedback. And State Bank of India, one of the sponsors to be part of this conclave. We are very happy. And we will be very happy to receive all your feedback. My best wishes to the BCBF officers for this successful conclave. Thank you, gentlemen. All the best to all of you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Rana, for sharing across all the important initiatives undertaken by SBI, especially for the MSMEs. On that note, we'd also like to take the opportunity right here at the conclave to announce about the MOU that's being signed between SBI and the BCBA. But before we get to the process of the MOU signing, we have a quick AV that we'd like to play across for all of you. So let's have the AV on the screen, please.
25 years is going to be the year when India will be among one of the top 3 economies in the globe.
To reach the Amrit Kal, from the time of independence and until now, the State Bank of India partnered with the Indian government to make India an economic superpower. In the first phase post-independence, SBI was entrusted with the task of uplifting the rural economy. By funding villages and self-help groups through various schemes, SBI set the tone for a strong village economy. In the second phase, with the nationalization of 14 more banks and continuing with the rural development, SBI also financed infrastructure, exports and SMEs that provided steady employment.
Today we support almost 1.8 million MSMEs in the country.
With employment opportunities, SBI created several lucrative schemes for the employed, which eventually created a savings economy for the middle-class Indian.
What we also want to do is to actually be hyper-personal, which means go down to through analytics to the power of one for that each customer, because each customer may want a different kind of approach in terms of channel, in terms of what they are looking for, in terms of the time at which they want to transact, all of that.
But progress is sometimes accompanied by crisis.
So that was a point of time when we had to conserve the forex resources. We had to promote the export.
The tiding away of the crisis opened the door to liberalization of the Indian economy, and SBI became instrumental in funding the major infrastructure projects, thereby contributing to the infrastructure economy of India.
For a bank of this size, we have contributed significantly for creation of infrastructure in this country.
In the Indian banking economy, today, SBI is the market leader in several products and services with many awards. As the fifth largest economy of the world, India has come a long way, and in its journey, SBI has played a pivotal role of the economy builder.
So on that pioneering note, ladies and gentlemen, let's move ahead because it's now time for the signing of the MOU between SBI and BCBA. So if I could please request Mr. Dushyant Mulani to kindly step forward. May I also please invite Mr. G.S. Rana to kindly step forward. I've also been informed that the SBI team is also over here. We also have with us Mr. A.S. Paul, CGM State Bank of India. I do realize that the world has become digital, but with the MOU, this is the beautiful part where we literally get to see the papers, the signing of the papers happening live. I think that's the beauty of it. So can we have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much. But on that note, I think it's time for all of us to understand more about the MOU, for which if I could please request Mr. A.S. Paul, CGM State Bank of India, to please share your words around the MOU. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Dignitaries on dais, off dais, members of BCBA, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. I'm very proud to be associated with BCBA. In fact, when we were in talks with Mr. Mulani, so we said, why not, being the largest bank in India, having the largest international offices, almost in 52 countries, why not we being the preferred banker of BCBA? So we agreed, and happy to share with you that, taking a cue from Mr. Mulani when he said that MSMEs are the backbone of the economy, and if we are to go to 2047 in the Amrit Kal, if we are to become a developed nation, I think MSMEs are the most important segment which will play a very important role in ensuring that we reach there. And I'm heading the MSME and the supply chain vertical of the bank, and very glad to share with you that we have customized digital products specially meant for MSME. We have a digital product straight through processing digitally where you can apply for credit facilities with State Bank of India over your laptop sitting in the comfort of your home, and within 45 minutes you get a sanction. It has worked in the last quarter, January to March 24. Our MSME book in that particular segment, we have seen a growth of 3x. That is the power of digital. And as I was discussing with other dignitaries during the morning, all of the things that you have are digitized in pockets. If you can just bring it together, it will not only increase the efficiency of operations, but it will also ensure the ease of doing business. So again, thank you, Mulani Saab, for allowing us, the largest bank, to be your preferred bank, and looking forward to all of your suggestions and feedback, and looking forward to working with you very closely, understanding your needs, and designing products specifically needed for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for defining the features of the MOU for all of us and the kind of impact it can have in the industry. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's also march ahead. And up next to share his valuable address with the August gathering, may I please invite Captain Piyushkumar Tyagi, Chairman and Managing Director, Shipping Corporation of India. Please let's have a huge round of applause. Please help me welcome Captain Piyushkumar Tyagi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Greetings from Shipping Corporation of India and entire shipping fraternity of India. Indian ports, 9 of the ports are ranked top out of top 100. Logistic Performance Index has given boost to India 6 points up, 38th rank. So these are the clear-cut evidences how the Indian government logistic policies is getting converted into efficiency. And this is a proud moment for entire country. We got the 38th rank, and 9 ports out of 100 ports are clear-cut winner for all of us. So thank you very much, all ports. Gati Shakti plan of our Pradhan Mantri ji, the National Logistic Policy, which was announced in 2022. Just nearly 2 years are over, and we can see clear-cut results. I consider shipping and the waterways as a clear-cut key component of the logistic supply chain, and shipping continues to play an important role in this. Our seafarers, they continue to provide their valuable contribution for this trade. They were tested to the limits during COVID. During COVID, we all were at our homes in offices, but these brave seafarers, they were serving on board, and they were continuing supplying the cargoes from one part to the other part. And whatever this cargoes we were getting in form of crude, petroleum, dry products, they ensured that while we were confined to our offices and houses, and they were feeding us. So I salute to all seafarers. Few days back, we celebrated our Day of Seafarers. So again, I acknowledge from this platform the contribution of all seafarers. And while the shippings were on the wheel, propeller was moving 24/7. Director General of Shipping and his team, they were also day and night, 24/7, they were supporting the shipping. Every day, for every port, new SOPs were being designed for dealing COVID. So thank you, DG Saab and entire DG team, and definitely entire setup in the Ministry of Shipping and Ports. As a part of shipping and the logistics supply, waterways plays important role. Nearly 66% cargo moves by the road, 31% by the rail, and the remaining whatever is left is by the other modes like waterways, even by the flights. So there is a currently clear-cut plan in hands, and there is a thrust by Government of India to transfer some of the load from the rail and the road to the waterways. Already plans are in hand, and some of the cargo Government of India is already planning to move through inland waterways also. There is a study and the results expected that if we move even 5% of cargo from these modes to the waterways, there will be saving of nearly 230 billion rupees. And it will save nearly 6% of the pollution which is being caused today. So this is the value of the movement of cargo through waterways. It is one of the best, cheapest, and sustainable mode of transport. And Government of India is working on this, and all the stakeholders in the shippings are also supporting and working on this. There are many activities as a part of this logistics supply chain which are getting into the positive results. Dedicated freight corridors, multimodal national parks are there, bullet train. Vadhavan port is one of the best example today, which is already now getting into converted into the reality. So ladies and gentlemen, with this I'll just conclude this, and I assure on behalf of the shipping and the entire maritime fraternity, we are the key player in this, and we will continue to play our role in this so that this entire objective of the National Logistic Plan to bring the cost from the double digit to the single digit, we can achieve this. With this, thank you very much. And once again, I especially thanks BCBA for inviting me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your dynamic thoughts. And in your words, as you had mentioned, how logistics policies are truly converting into efficiency. So we'll take those future-forward thoughts, and let's now move ahead to invite our next speaker. So if I could please invite Mr. Shyam Jagannathan to please come forward, sir, to share your valuable words with us. Thank you very much, sir. Your presentation.
Namaskar, good morning. I had a brief presentation. However, before that, my salutations, because each of the dignitaries on the stage here in this logistics conclave themselves are furthering the National Logistics Plan. Respected Chief Guest, Shri Agarwal sir, who is looking at the customs clearances for perhaps the busiest port and terminals in arrivals. Shri Rajesh Pandey ji, Principal Chief Commissioner, who looks after the JNPA port, is also looking at the port that handles the highest number of container arrivals. My eminent colleague, Captain B.K. Tyagi ji, is spearheading an initiative where they're coming up with a joint venture, because while the nation imports crude, most of the crude comes on foreign flagged vessels, implying close to around $70 to $75 billion is there as annual forex outgo. Captain Tyagi is spearheading an initiative where we are replacing it with Indian flagged vessels, Indian crude carriers, which eventually will also have a strategic security, because a situation like the Red Sea does not allow reliance on foreign flag vessels. Do we have the presentation? I would also like to congratulate my eminent colleague, chairperson of JNPA, who's very recently led the entire port to its 35th year, and they go by their catchline of the best performing port. And I will go by this presentation because I had made it quite crisp. If it could please come up. Please bear with me. So till they set up the presentation, I'll just start. Let me start with the Indian growth story. We are looking at India reaching the third largest economic power status by 2027. And this implies that by the end of the Amrit Kal, we would be looking at a $26 trillion economy. The per capita income would be $15,000. This is what I was talking about on the screen. And we would remain the fastest growing, largest economy then. Now, there are multiple drivers to this: economic liberalization, use and leverage of technology, and an amazing financial inclusion architecture. If you're looking at basically the projections there, if you're comparing China and India, yes, 24% of the global GDP is being contributed by China, but India is catching up from around 6.5, a higher estimate of close to around 7. And this manufacturing story would change with value added to most of the value chains. This is the singular goal that we're looking at. We're looking at reducing our logistics costs from 13 to 14% to 8 to 10%, which is essentially the global average and what Europe basically witnesses. I just tried to explain some of the logistic frameworks in the sense if you look at the rail coverage and the road coverage. Again, China to India. China moves its freight by trains close to around 300 plus kilometers per hour. Our average rail speed, which has improved substantially for freight, is around 43 kilometers per hour. So a long way to improve. If you're looking at our road traffic, our trucks are smaller and they make lesser number of daily trips. Whereas in economies such as in Europe, America, and in China, the trucks are larger, they carry more, and they cover thrice the distance on the same day. Now, this basically tells you about the entire consignment, FOB, right down to basically the customer's pocket and the retail. Where you're seeing the red is essentially where the problem points lie. Demurrage, issues written with the hidden cost that is there in the system, inventory settlement, and non-intelligent management of your logistics supply chain. The red, ladies and gentlemen, is what adds cost to your logistic value chain, rendering you less globally competitive. This was talked about, the Logistics Performance Index. We are at 38. It's a remarkable improvement. And this is where we are headed. We adopt new advanced technologies, look at fast-tracking infrastructure development, focus on sustainable logistics, and attract investment and investor interest. This is something that I wanted to flag with you as the government's intent. That is why you have today on the podium senior-most officials from the customs, senior-most officials from the ports, and also the regulatory framework as in the DG shipping. The coming together in the synergy is what I wanted to talk about in the National Master Plan for World-Class Infrastructure domestically in India. And why the National Logistics Policy? 90% is still unorganized. BCBA is doing a wonderful job organizing you, formalizing you, and ensuring ease of logistics. The Gati Shakti was talked about. This is the biggest action plan happening in converging all effort, wherein the nation is putting in money in a focused manner for more bang for the buck. And this is how the vision plan essentially is. Gati Shakti at the heart of it, coupled with the national logistics policy, will give you essentially the vision to be achieved by 2047 that gives you good logistics. Please allow me a little bit more of time because I need to mention what's happening in the maritime domain. We have some of the leaders in the port sector here. My colleague Unmesh ji is here. They're doing wonderful work, 12 major ports, 200 plus other ports. This is the progress that has been witnessed in the entire maritime sector. Please look at the percentages itself. They're all above 100%. So the last decadal growth is a story to be told n number of times, more than 100% growth being repeated in all specific aspects in the maritime domain. This is where we are globally competitive. As was mentioned by Captain Tyagi ji, we are number 5 in global seafarers and we are aspiring to be number 2. In global ship recycling, we are number 2. Logistics, we are 38. And some of the ports, such as JNP here itself, and Mundra, of course, they are in the top performing list of 40 ports. That's the Indian maritime decade growth that is envisaged for the future under the Amrit Kal vision. And this is a document which BCBA may well adopt because it's the public statement and intent of what the government is intending to do on both the port side and on the water side. Ports are getting bigger. Wagh is a port which is being spearheaded again by Unmesh ji out here, and he will probably flag many more things. It's a deep water draft port, will change the entire western coast for India. And this is an interesting part I wanted to talk about, the logistics shift. If you look at China, they're doing only 43% of their freight by road. India is road-centric, 64%. We need to change that, move it more to water and other multimodal ones so that we have lower cost while we are moving freight and consignments for the logistics. This is an interesting story. If you look at the horizontal histogram, in 1991, you had the government ports handling 91% of the cargo. And in 23, it is more a mix of private ports handling more cargo than collectively the government ports. And this is what the government is pushing through for the port-led expansion. Sagarmala is a dedicated 5.54 crores over the last 15 years, continuously being infused. Vadhma is one example. Galathea, which was mentioned, is another example of a transshipment bay. Private participation in Viringham is another example which is going as a transshipment hub. And these are the performances to show. Your container turnaround times are lesser, your capacity at the ports are going up, and you're having more sustainable modes when you're looking at the rejuvenated renewable energy that is basically being used to power all this. That says it. If you look at the right side of the slide, you have India, a TAT basically, according to the World Bank, which is a global authority, is less than 3 days. You're looking at USA and Germany, there's 7 and 10 days. I mentioned the Sagamala program, 5.74 crores. This shows the dedicated intent by the government to ensure infrastructure backs the logistic growth to allow you to manufacture, export, and fuel the economy at a lower cost to your value chain. This is something I wanted to talk about in the ports. I was hoping Shri Rajiv Jalota ji would be here because just in time is something that would happen, and the time of 3 days as a TAT for the vessel arrival and then departure with the cargo clearance would further get reduced. This is what Adani has done in their APSEZ. There are speakers who will be speaking during the sessions out here, and they are doing a phenomenal job in providing a one-stop logistics solution. It's easier for everybody, and clearances happen very quick. Of course, I had mentioned the JNPA story. I will leave it to Umesh ji to kindly address this, because it is a story that needs to be told not once, but repeatedly. They've done a fabulous job. I think a round of applause for the chairman, JNPA, is necessary. And it's not just one port. Visakhapatnam jumped 122 points. So that is what is the success that Indian ports are now basically showing the benchmarks to the rest of the world. And this is what I had wanted to talk about, which is where I had requested Shri Agarwal sir and Rajesh Pandey sir also. The maritime single window is becoming the single logistic portal under the national logistic portal, where all consignments, vessels, immigration, as well as customs would be onboarded into a single platform. So this becomes the electronic data interchange basically on the ULIP, which has basically been there as one component of the national logistics portal. That's how it is. Cargo services, carrier services, banks too, which have basically participated here, and all regulatory services on one single operating platform. India has started going global, and why I mentioned these two corridors is we are not just investing in domestic infrastructure, we are looking at leveraging this internationally. So you're having the IMEC happening, and this is a sustained part of the Viksit Bharat being driven by the Honorable Prime Minister's office itself. This is the Northern Sea route, which is an alternative to what's happened with the Suez Canal and the Red Sea issues that you have witnessed, which will reduce your logistic times and your transit time drastically. So we're working on providing more and more seafarers with polar training so that you have more vessels that are there, so that you move your cargo much, much cheaper. Lastly, a message to flag with all of you. Please do bring in sustainability. It was really nice to see Dushyant Mulani ji lead from the front with the saplings that were given from BCBA today, and that was really very welcome. Please incorporate green and sustainable practices in your corporate approach. This is a little bit of chest thumping. India was re-elected with the highest ever votes globally, 157 votes in the International Maritime Organization. Thank you so much for a patient hearing. Sorry I exceeded my time. Thank you. Jai Hind.
So firstly, thank you very much indeed. And I think with your presentation, first up, we managed to gather some very important data points that showcase India's progress. But again, in your words, you also said the story of JNPA needs to be told, which is why it's only befitting that I now move forward to inviting the chairman of JNPA, none other than Shri Unmesh Wagh. So please, let's have a huge round of applause. Please help me welcome our next speaker, Mr. Unmesh Wagh.
Dignitaries on dais, dignitaries of the dais, friends, good morning. I thank all the speakers for praising JNPA and encouraging us. I have a detailed presentation after this session on Ward 1, so I will not go in detail about that subject, but I will only touch upon that last Wednesday only, the Cabinet of India sanctioned the Ward 1 project. Sir, it's a project which was conceived in 1991 and stalled in 2006. So after 2006, and why we wanted to do Ward 1 when it was stalled in 2006? Because we have 7,200 kilometers of coastline, but there was not a single spot as good as Ward 1 for making or constructing a deep water port. So we did not have any option but to go for this particular port. So last 4.5 years, from drawing board to the peer review, from peer review to drawing board. And finally, when we received, in most of the projects, you have to undergo lots of things. But sometime, when you study during your college days, there is examination, you study hard, and then there are out-of-syllabus questions. So in this particular Ward 1, there is one very difficult out-of-syllabus question, and that was Dahanu Taluka Environmental Protection Authority. this authority is only for that tehsil in India. And this authority chaired by the ex-High Court judge. So unless and until this authority clears that project, you cannot do anything. There are more than 10 technical members, and they asked us to do more than 20 studies. We did that, and in July 2023, we got the clearance from DTEPA. And from July 20, that is the 31st July. So 31st July, we got that clearance. After that, within 6 months, we got more than 30 clearance from various departments and put it to the cabinet. And this is possible, as touched upon by Shyam sir and Tyagi sir, that PM Gati Shakti. A project which leveraged this particular PM Gati Shakti maximum is the Vadwan project. If that Gati Shakti tool was not there, I think we would have not got all the clearances till 2026, at least. Another thing is that the project is so good that we got clearance last Wednesday, and we got, Mr. Rana is here from State Bank. Sir, we got sanctions in last Wednesday, and Power Finance Corporation gave sanction letter of all loan within 2 days. And that is for 22,000 crores. So that is the power of a good project and also a reliable project proponent. So this is all about Vadwan. I will cover the details afterwards, but as a JNPA story, there are 2-3 things I just like to flag. The first is we enhanced our efficiency by reduction of all the points, all the pain points, and also collaborated with JNCH. We have extraordinary leader in JNCH Custom, Rajesh Pandey sir. And wherever we request, see, in any logistics sector, if you want to do the miracles, first and foremost, you have to enhance your capacity. That is one thing. If you don't have capacity, you cannot be efficient. And the another point is that you have to map your processes, simplify them, and digitalize them. And for that, the most important role is played by the customs in any port. So whether it is our CPP, Centralized Parking Plaza, where we reduce dwell time. Initially, when an exporter used to send his cargo from Pune to JNCH for the export, he used to think of a week. He used to think that I have to send at least a week before it reaches the ship. But with our efforts of mapping the process, the DPE, the Centralized Parking Plaza, now that time has been reduced by 5 days. And in Centralized Parking Plaza, the factory stuff container, which used to spend more than 5,000 rupees, now they spend only 150 rupees. And in Centralized Parking Plaza, we are also providing a lot of amenities to drivers and others. So this is a game changer for export, and all other major ports are now replicating this initiative. The another initiative, because Shyam Jagannathan sir, when he was a ships development commissioner, he helped a lot to create a world-class SEZ in JNPA. The SEZ in JNPA is world-class because it is a plug-and-play infrastructure, and all the processes are online. And you have single window clearances once you get a plot there. Whole process is so transparent that now all over the world we are getting demand, but we don't have much land left. We will create more than 57,000 jobs in our JNPA SEZ in next 5 years. Our turnaround time has been reduced from day to less than 20 hours. The dwell time for import is less than 24 hours, and export If we cut down the waiting time for shifts because the calls are not daily but weekly, it is also less than 24 hours. This is, I think, one of the best in the world. This is possible because of the collaboration of JNPA and JNCH. And one last point for the BCBA, when we went for the Ward 1, we have some local opposition. We still have a little bit of opposition. But we started training for the giving jobs to the locals before we got sanctions of the project. And for that, BCBA came forward, collaborated with us, and started training in Palghar district. We had done more than 4 trainings till date, and more than 200 people trained there have been given jobs by the BCBA. BCBA helped us creating a goodwill in Palghar district, and that is not a small help because that created the goodwill which we leverage so that we can have a support from the local public. We are going to sign one MOU also BCBA for imparting training to the Ward 1 youths, and I will like to tell from this forum that we would like to develop this port taking into account the local public, and 12,000 jobs which will be created in this Ward 1 port, 90% of those jobs will be offered to the local public only. With this word, I again thanks BCBA and all the dignitaries for their kind words. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed, sir. Thank you also for reminding us the power of a very good project. And you shared that through very interesting timelines, all the achievements, all the initiatives. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's also march ahead and invite our next speaker, our guest of honor. We have with us Shri Rajesh Pandey, Chief Commissioner of Customs, JNCH, Navasheva. Let's have a huge round of applause to please help me welcome Shri Rajesh Pandey.
Good morning, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais, the team leader of today's Logistics Conclave, Shri Dushyant Mulani ji, entire BCBA team, delegates attending the conclave, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to speak at this mega event on logistics as we have embarked on our journey to reach the goal of Viksit Bharat set by our Honorable Prime Minister. And logistics has to be the driver of that vehicle which will take us to Viksit Bharat. I would start with a word about the host of today's conclave, BCBA. BCBA has a very glorious past. For regulating the entire international trade scenario, customs has a key role, and many of the delegates who are present here may not be aware that when the Customs Act 1962 was being enacted, the Parliamentary Committee had come down from Delhi and had consultations with BCBA in its earlier avatar of BCHA Association on the draft bill. So, building on that legacy, today a member of BCBA is chairman of the International Federation of Customs Brokers Associations, and another member of BCBA heads the national apex body, FFAI. So this is the legacy on which this conclave has to take forward, and BCBA has to play a pivotal role. For logistics sector to grow, we all have to work together in the public sector, in the private sector, in a trust-based environment. Just before me, Mr. Unmesh Wagh spoke about how the port has been transformed, how the next mega port is coming up at Ward 1. In this context, JNPA probably is the best example of how the partnership between public and private can lead to immense growth in efficiencies. They have focused on developing the infrastructure and the efficiencies of the private sector in running the port terminals have been put to use. With that, the JNPA has reached a stage where they are having a turnaround time of vessels better than Singapore or better than most of the ports in the world, which has come for praise from World Bank also. Now, in this integrated environment, we need to have very strong IT backbones. So, from this forum, I would like to mention here that the government has initiated work on a new IT platform for handling international trade. This new customs integrated system, which will have all the participants of the international trade ecosystem working on this common platform, whether it is customs, PGAs, importers, exporters, shipping lines, logistics operators, customs broker, all will work on this common integrated platform, and it will be a one-stop shop for all work relating to trading across borders. My colleague from CBIC, Shri Yogendra Garg, Principal Director General Systems, will also be joining us in the afternoon today, and he would be discussing more about this customs integrated system. I will be brief because I am conscious that we are running late, and I'll be succeeded by my senior colleague. I would just like to mention that in this entire logistics chain, customs brokers are placed in a very unique scenario, and they have a very critical role. Recently, we had conducted exams and results have been announced, so more young professionals would be joining the customs broker fraternity. We have some points for customs brokers fraternity that in the scenario that we are working, the government is pushing hard for Make in India, and these initiatives tend to increase obligations of stakeholders at times. So in such scenario, the customs brokers have a huge role as well as opportunity to expand and grow beyond their traditional role and become friends and guides of the importers and exporters in this logistics chain. Another initiative is the cornerstone of Secure Supply Chain, our AEO program of World Customs Organization. In this also, a lot of scope is there for customs brokers to help the importers, exporters, and other logistics operators to join the AEO program and move in the direction of a secure supply chain which works on a trust-based environment. We have, in addition to the AEO, there are some other programs like the status holders of DGFT, Star Trading House, etc. Then we have certain other data points of manufacturers having turnover or customs duty payment above a threshold. These data points can also be used to broaden and deepen our risk-based approach for the clearance of cargo. This helps immensely in reducing the dwell time, and it helps in faster movement of cargo through the logistics sector. The customs integrated system, which will be working on a much bigger data set, will have the capacity to adapt for sharper targeting of non-compliant trade and for improving the facilitation of the compliant trade. So in this regard also, the customs brokers have an opportunity and a role to play. We have to move towards a consultative approach in this entire journey, and the Trade Facilitation Agreement of World Trade Organization lays the path for it. So we have to think of a parallel mechanism of dispute resolution also, because for managing compliances, often we end up having disputes. So in this conclave, I would invite delegates, I would request them to think of alternative mechanisms for dispute settlement, and can we have some kind of a parallel mechanism for certain entities, say for example AEOs, which can minimize the disruption in the supply chain despite there being an interpretative dispute. So with all this, we have to think in terms of a systems-based approach with minimal targeting, more precise targeting of the risk factors in the international trade, and work in a structured manner, whether it is through the AEO program or through other data points. And we have come a long way with the initiatives on the custom side, whether it was DPD or whether single window clearance working in tandem with the PGAs or the centralized parking plaza, as Mr. Unmesh Wagh mentioned. So all these initiatives have reduced the dwell time, have helped the logistics sector, but many more initiatives, many more such initiatives are needed. And this conclave, which would have a lot of discussion on various options, various ideas, I wish this conclave a great success. And I once again thank BCBA for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. All the data points, all the points that you've shared, all the initiatives that you've spoken about truly accentuate the point as to how logistics indeed is the driver of the vehicle towards Viksit Bharat. As we take these pioneering points from all of our stalwarts, it's now time to hear from our honorable chief guest for the conclave, for the Logistics Conclave 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, he's someone who's actually served in the 3 central excise commissionerates at Mumbai. He's also known for having proposed several tax-friendly initiatives to the apex body of the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, as well as for GST. And ladies and gentlemen, he's definitely the man who needs no introduction. Can we have a huge round of applause to please help me welcome Shri Pramod Kumar Agarwal, Principal Chief Commissioner of Customs, Mumbai Zone 1.
Telescope of good morning. Suprabhat, good morning. My friends on the dais and my partners in progress of the dais. Lot of facts and figures since 10, 20, 25 we have heard. I am deeply impressed with the vision of Government of India, policies, initiatives, especially presented by my colleague, Dr. Shyam Jagannathan and Mr. Tyagi, and aptly supplemented by my colleague in Customs, Mr. Pandey. I'm not going to bother you with those facts and figures. I'm here to exhort, to appeal to the BCBA, customs broking community, industry of customs broking. Am I correct? Dosto, being customs head in Mumbai, it gives me immense pleasure to be here this morning. The reason being, जैसा उनका नाम है, customs broker, they are part and parcel of customs. They have been licensed by customs to work as their agents. This is the only community in India who authorized them to work on behalf of customs as their agents. Earlier we used to call them CHA, Custom House Agent. Now we call them at the international nomenclature, customs broker. The moment we use the word broker, it comes with, some kind of, negative connotation. But here we are not going to take that, because customs broker has done a lot of very, very important, transformative and positive role so far as EXIM trade is concerned. customs broker being at the center of organizing a conclave called Logistics Conclave, really it is immense pride for, especially for me and my colleague and everybody in the customs. Immense pride. Customs broking, which is known only for custom house agent, is known for only clearance of exim cargo, export and import clearance. And they are talking of the Logistics Conclave. You know, when a small child in a family, I consider them as part of the customs, as family of customs fraternity. A lot of High Court and Supreme Court judgments have used the word that customs broker are eyes and ears of customs. Eyes and ears of customs. You can understand our association with customs broker. And our presence here. Now the child, the family, when the child grows and becomes young, and then he tells his parents, now I have become young and capable and graduate, I want to go out, I want to do something big. You can imagine how the parents feel. The similar feeling is today to me and my colleague and all officers in the customs, because customs broker, which have been licensed by us, talking not only of the customs clearance, but talking of a very pivotal, important role in the logistics scenario of the country. Lot of facts and figure. And when I was reading this brochure, which was shared to me about a week back, their mission statement, I am just repeating. I think some of you must have read this morning. Vision and statement. Let me first read their vision statement. To be the architects of shaping India's logistics landscape and unlocking the growth potential towards building Viksit Bharat. Then mission statement, to empower customs broker to seize emerging opportunities and transcend boundaries in charting the course for a new India. Customs broker talking of new India. Customs broker talking of Viksit Bharat. मेरा सीना, मेरी छाती इतनी चौड़ी हो जाती है. मेरा रोल अपने आप बढ़ जाता है. मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज 10-fold बढ़ जाती है. When you talk of this, you can imagine our responsibilities. Dr. Shyam ji and JNPA chairman all have spoken about the immense opportunities. The growth story of India. And Dushyant, Mulani ji in talks of in various occasions that, okay, 5th largest economy, 5 trillion economy, third, now we are going to be third. Shyam ji will excuse me because we were together last week here itself in some other, this thing and some of the things which I am going to repeat. Yes, we have the opportunities. My dear friends in customs broking community, please seize these opportunities. One of the speakers said that out of 100, Tyagi ji, I think 9 ports in the country, world 38, rank in LPI, and customs broker, your role, 90%, I think, more than 90%. 90%, more than 90% of the exim trade you handle. You see the opportunity, immense potential you have still to achieve. And you can play very important pivotal role in logistics sector. You can provide them not only the clearance, warehousing, transportation, last mile connectivity, freight forwarding. Of course, you are part of freight forwarding. My colleague has touched upon, a lot of initiatives have been taken by the customs. Yes, your role is very immense, important, right from enactment of the Customs Act in 1962. We have embarked on the journey from physical to complete digital solution. And now we are talking of integrated custom solution. Mr. Shyam has talked about that single window, maritime single window, MSW. I think we cannot be left out of that maritime single window. Then another, I think, IMA, my colleague has talked from the JNPA that Indian integrated maritime, yeah. Now that corridor, you see, these are the opportunities. You are talking of Badavan port coming 3 times than the JNPA capacity. You are talking of the new Bombay International Airport. Samaj is here. All these opportunities. Another, they're talking of this new corridor, India, Middle East European corridor. Mr. Dushyant Mulani ji. These are the signs of young and growing India. Yes, young and growing India. And you don't feel that you are 82 or 83-year-old Customs Broker Association. You are still very young because this country is young. This country has just started. अब हमें घुटने के बल चलना नहीं है. अब तो हमें दौड़ना है. हमें अब दौड़ने की आदत लानी है. अब उन स्लो एंड स्टडी वाली काम नहीं चलेगा. अब तो हमें फास्ट एंड स्टडी चाहिए. And then you have to come and fulfill the expectations of the EXIM trade. And the moment you start fulfilling the expectations of the EXIM trade means you are going to play a very important role in logistics sector. And the conclave, 4 sessions coming today. Logistics in Amrit Kal, leadership essentials for navigating in ever-changing landscape. Then business session 3 is transforming logistics and customs operation, championing stability and continuity in business. I think my friends from MSME are also here. And you are championing their cause. My friends from banks, SBI, they had already elaborated on that. And vision of government, policy of the government, the environment created by the government of India. In Amrit Kal, you have all seen in the presentations of my previous speakers. You are not only a licensed customs broker, you are a very important power player in the logistics sector, power player in the national economy for building the nation. Yes, when opportunities are there, challenges also come. Some of the custom broker or some of the friends from the industry, the moment I use the word industry, initially I use the word custom broking industry. You know what do you mean by industry? Industry का मतलब ही होता है परिश्रम और पुरुषार्थ. Industry, you know, somebody call it very industrious man, very industrious person, means full of joy and energy, full of youth and energy, porous. The moment you are being named as in a customs broking industry, Dushyant ji, you have to do a lot of his expectations from you. Challenges will be there. The moment opportunities are there, there will be challenges. But we are happy to associate with you. I, along with my all friends in customs, commit towards your aims and objectives that you mentioned. श्याम जी, मैंने बताया था कि सबसे ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी जो आपने कहा 2047, मैं आज भी बोलता हूँ और दोबारा रिपीट करता हूँ क्योंकि श्याम जी के लिए कि मुझे 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी में विश्वास नहीं है. मुझे इन वर्ल्ड में तीसरा स्थान पाने की भी इच्छा नहीं है. अरे भारत तो ऐसा देश है जो आप बोलो कि मुझे वर्ल्ड में नंबर 1 बनना है. We have to be first in the world. 2047, nobody can match. We have heard China, we have heard history, the growth history of Europe also in some of the presentation, and America. Africa. Other day, one of the speakers was talking of, हम अफ्रीका के कितने बराबर हैं, हम यूरोप के कहाँ पहुँचा, अमेरिका वाले जितना उनकी इकोनॉमिक हम उस या उनकी पर कैपिटा वाले हमारे यहाँ कितने हैं. My friends, this is the only country, this is the only place. हम अपने आप में अमेरिका को भी समाये हुए हैं, हम यूरोप को भी समाये हुए हैं, हम अफ्रीका को भी समाये हुए हैं. हमारे पास गैलर ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है. जब गैलर ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज आती है तो ग्रोथ होता है, और जब ग्रोथ जब आप करने जाओगे तो चैलेंजेस आएंगे. क्यों? उस दिन एक डेटा दिया गया था कि 80 करोड़ अर्निंग मेंबर, जिस देश में 142 करोड़ 142 करोड़ खाने वाले और 85 करोड़ लोग कमाने वाले हों, उस देश में क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज की कमी रहेगी? जहाँ कंजम्पशन इतना हो और जहाँ कमाने वाले, वहाँ पर कैपिटा इनकम क्रिएट करने वाले, जीडीपी क्रिएट करने वाले लोग इतना हो. इमेंस अपॉर्चुनिटीज फॉर ग्रोथ. International airport, seaport, ferry, we are talking of so many things. The role of custom broker comes. Challenges will come. जब हम चलना शुरू करते हैं, when we start running, तो छाले और फफोले तो आएंगे. छाले और फफोले तो पड़ेंगे हमारे पैरों में. तो क्या हम रुक जाएंगे? चैलेंजेज आएंगे. दिनकर की 2 पंक्तियां मुझे याद आती है हिंदी में. नींद कहाँ उनकी आंखों में, नींद कहाँ उनकी आंखों में जो धुन के मतवाले हैं. गति की तृषा और बढ़ जाती पड़ते पद में जब छाले हैं. ना हंगर फॉर ग्रोथ becomes more when challenges are there. We talked of opportunities. We talked of initiatives taken by government, especially Customs Department. My colleague has highlighted. अंत में मैं कहना चाहूँगा that आपने जो vision लिखा, yes, you have to be a long-term vision, दूरदृष्टि, but at the same time, you require a very firm resolution, firm resolve. आपका संकल्प बिल्कुल पक्का होना चाहिए, पक्का इरादा होना चाहिए. And then, all the colleagues have highlighted T, I call it VRT, Vision, Resolution and Transformative Technology. T, transformative, not only technology, transformative technology, and with ESG, which Dr. Shyam has already highlighted, environmental social governance for sustainable development. Thank you. Wish you all the best for this great, great conclave. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Yeah. Friends, the chairman from Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs, which is an apex body of customs indirect tax in the country. My chairman, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, has sent a message. I request the organizer to please run that message.
My greetings to all esteemed members of the Brihan Mumbai Customs Broker Association, distinguished guests, and participants of the Logistics Conclave 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the BCBA for having invited me to address this conclave. While I would have cherished this opportunity to join you in person, I find myself bound by pressing commitments today, and therefore I am only able to participate through this virtual address. Nevertheless, I am confident that the discussions and insights of all the stakeholders who have gathered today on this platform will be fruitful for the industry as well as for the Indian customs in its vision for the Viksit Bharat. Your efforts in curating this conclave to bring together all stakeholders to build a thought process for driving efficiency and innovation in the logistics sector are commendable. Let me begin by stating that India has made remarkable progress in enhancing trade facilitation, logistics efficiency, and ease of doing business in recent years. The Ministry of Finance and other ministries involved in the regulation of exempt trade have implemented a range of trade facilitation measures to promote a paperless and contactless environment, enhance regulatory compliance, and streamline exempt processes. India's efforts have been recognized globally with improvement in trade facilitation indices, including the Logistic Performance Index score. This comprehensive approach aligns with the vision of Viksit Bharat, emphasizing efficient and seamless cross-border trade, reduction in logistics costs, attracting investments, and boosting the country's competitiveness in the global market. The introduction of SWIFT, expansion and deepening of the AU scheme, boosting e-commerce by providing export clearances through Dak Niryatra Kendras and container scanning facility at major seaports are some of the important initiatives undertaken to streamline customs and regulatory processes. As we strive to improve our logistics performance, it is essential to focus on reducing the cost of logistics. High logistics cost can significantly impact the competitiveness of our exports and the overall economy. Collaborative efforts between customs office agents, freight forwarders, custom authorities, and other stakeholders can help identify inefficiencies that impact the competitiveness of our exports. Digitalization is a key enabler in this journey. We must continue to leverage technology to create a more efficient and cost-effective logistics ecosystem. As a major step, the Sea Cargo Manifest and Transshipment Regulation will come into operation from 1st July and bring about transparency, predictability of movement, advanced collection of information, leading to expeditious clearances. Here, I would like to mention that the results of recently concluded National Tax Time Release Study will be published soon. Several noteworthy findings have been emerging, shedding light on the efficiency and effectiveness of the custom processes for imports as well as for exports. The results are particularly encouraging, showcasing a sustained improvement in the average release time. However, to achieve the targets as set out in the National Trade Facilitation Action Plan, there is still a lot of ground to be covered. From the agenda of the conclave, I am happy to see that there will be discussions on achieving higher inclusion of women in logistics. This is in consonance with the United Nations theme this year, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, which has also been taken up by the WCO. The inclusion of women in logistics is not just a matter of equality, but a strategic advantage. We need to create an environment that encourages and supports women in logistics. I would request the participants in the conclave to deliberate comprehensively on this aspect. I am also happy to see that accuracy and compliance of declaration to customs is also a part of the agenda, in which the role of CHS is paramount. With these words, I again thank BCBA to have given me a chance to put forth my views and highlights the good work being done by the department. Your insights and ideas are valuable, and I am confident that our collaborative efforts will help us achieve our shared objectives of lowering customs costs, improve trade facilitation, and transforming India into a global hub for logistics and manufacturing. Thank you, and I wish you a productive and enriching conclave. Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, well, after hearing from the leaders themselves, I have also observed one important point that Shri Agarwal had mentioned is about not just being slow and steady, but being fast and steady. Because Darwinian theory कहता है survival of the fittest, लेकिन आज का theory ही has survival of the fastest. So we're going to take that point from you, sir, and we will also take this dynamic leadership of the industry forward. On that note, while we do come to the end of the session, I'd like to once again please invite Mr. Nirav Thakkar to please propose the vote of thanks for the inaugural session. Over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Kavya. It's an honor to have the privilege of addressing such distinguished gathering at the dais today. Sir, your kind presence for inauguration of the BCBA Conclave on Logistics in Amritkal Vision 2047 couldn't be more glamorously kick-started. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of the dignitaries for being here. Your presence truly signifies your support and enthusiasm for the theme of today's conclave, which is unleashing new opportunities for transformation. Whether you have traveled from far or you're joining us from the close-by vicinity, it's your commitment that makes this inaugural session extremely special. Since we have the privilege of the dignitaries on the dais, with the support of our members, of our sponsors, BCBA has prepared a souvenir, and we would request all the dignitaries to kindly come forward. We would like the launch of the souvenir to be done on the hands of these dignitaries, chief guests, guest of honor present here today. So may I please request the souvenirs to kindly be brought forward and request the dignitaries to kindly come forward. Thank you. Let's have a round of applause, everybody. Thank you, and I request the dignitaries to kindly be present. We'll have a group photograph once of the inaugural session, and then I will request Ms. Kavya to take the session forward, but maybe just have one group photograph right now once again. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, can we please have a huge round of applause to thank all our dignitaries for gracing the occasion, for gracing the conclave, and giving a dynamic start with the inaugural session, because that truly sets the tone for our upcoming business sessions today. Thank you very much. And I'd like to